So you're thinking about moving to Texas, but you don't know if you want to be in Dallas or Fort Worth. Well, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 3 suburbs of both Dallas and Fort Worth and comparing them, going head to head to see which one is better.
And if this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to be the first to know what's happening in the Texas real estate market, go ahead and hit that bell.
Welcome to the channel. My name is Tom Jung.
And I'm Jack Lisenby.
And we are your local Dallas-Fort Worth real estate agents. If you are thinking about buying or selling, we would love to work with you. Please don't hesitate to give us a call, shoot us a text, or hit the little schedule a time button in the top of YouTube. Or
it does work, I promise.
The Zoom call, yeah, it's good. Yeah, so anyways, Dallas versus Fort Worth. First of all, for those people who have never heard of Fort Worth, shame on you. It's the 12th largest city in the U.S., and I don't know why people always know where Dallas is and never talk about Fort Worth.
They're within spitting distance.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So anyways, if you are looking to move to the North Texas area, Dallas and Fort Worth are pretty much right next to each other. So, you know, a lot of times it's referred to as Dallas-Fort Worth.
DFW?
Yeah, which I guess is fine. Dallas is a little bit bigger. I guess they can go first.
I guess.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, so in this video, we're going to be taking a look at different suburbs. We've both picked 3. Jack, you're taking on Dallas, and I'll be taking on Fort Worth. We're picking suburbs, and we're going to be rating them for basically family living. And we've got a couple different categories. We're going to go through each one, tell you, you know, why we gave them the rating we do, and we'll see which ones come out on top.
Yeah, I think the most important thing whenever people go to move, especially whenever they have kids, they have to like line item this thing. So usually the very first one that comes up is schools.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
You got to take your kids out of school. You got to work around the schedule of school. You got to find a good school for your kids. You got to put together like a graduation plan and everything and get them all prepped and ready. It's just a giant headache, it feels like.
Yeah, it's a pretty big factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to figure that one out.
But I think that's something that people are definitely looking for whenever they move to a new area. Even myself, whenever I moved, I don't have kids, never plan to have kids, but I understand it's a really big factor for a lot of people. It's something that people take into account whenever they're...
Run us through all the categories real quick, so people know what we're basing this on.
So the categories we came up with that we think are going to be the biggest asks people have whenever they're looking to move with a family are schools, safety, childcare, the general location, and affordability. So what we hopefully plan to do in this video is give you a quick rundown of each of those things and how they compare with these 3 pictures. And if areas.
Yeah, if we miss something that is important to you, let us know in the comments, because we'll be doing additional videos kind of like this, and maybe neighborhoods in a certain city, or you know, we may pick 3 more and go from there.
Yeah.
The second best suburbs.
Yeah, we're gonna do an east versus west today, and maybe a north versus south tomorrow. We don't know yet.
Yeah. So cool. You want to kick it off?
Yeah. So the first area I'm gonna actually end up going with, since I'm gonna be representing Dallas over here, is Richardson. And Richardson, a lot of people just don't know about it. Honestly, if you're not from the DFW area, you're probably like, "What the heck is a Richardson?" Maybe, but it's really interesting. So it's for anyone who doesn't know where Richardson is. It's just south of the 8. Is it the 820 loop over there? They call it something else. Oh, just south of the North 20, and it's southwest of Plano. So it's inside the loop over there in Dallas, and a little bit closer to the city center compared to these other 2 that we're going to be talking about as well. And then what's the first one on your list?
So I've got Benbrook.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we're going to go through Benbrook, Keller, and Southlake on my end.
Nice. And I've got Richardson, Frisco, and Plano. So you want me to start this one off then?
Yeah. Hit it.
Okay,
break it all down.
So Richardson, like I said, southwest of Plano, just inside the loop there in Dallas. It actually has phenomenal schools. So I've got myself a little grading chart here. I'm not going to show you guys because that'd be spoiling things, but we'll get to that, I promise. So for anyone who, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people moving to new areas are going to be concerned about is like the elementary schools and stuff like that, because a lot of people who've been in the school system for a little bit longer may know what to look for, but the people with their first kids that got to put them into elementary school, it can be a little bit daunting. But I can tell you right now that Richardson, when it comes to schools, these guys top notch over there in Dallas. It may not necessarily be the best in the state, but they are consistently good. So it's sort of one of those situations where you can't really go wrong no matter what you pick. But I went ahead and picked 3. The top-rated elementary school, middle school, and high school, just to give everyone like a jumping off point and stuff like that. So the top one for Richardson for elementary school is going to be Prairie Creek. Their highest rated middle school is going to be Richardson West Junior High, and then the Pierce High School is the highest rated high school over there. But all in all, I'd have to say if I gave this one a rating, it's definitely a pro. So that's a star right there.
Okay. Take us through the whole thing.
Okay. So next, jumping into it, we got childcare because, whenever they're not at school and you're still at work, you got to have somebody look after them. I would say on this one, it's definitely a pro as well because Richardson has a ton of childcare facilities all throughout the place, and they're all very highly rated. I was thoroughly surprised by the number of childcare facilities they have within a reasonable distance of the city center. And they have multiple, 100+ 5-star ratings on Google. Several of these, just like you have to scroll through them.
That's awesome.
They have kids in mind everywhere in this place. The next category we're going to go over, though, is safety. And being closer to the city center, I got to say, this one scored a little bit below average. So Richardson is mostly residential. They do have a couple of parks, but they are so close to so much industry and market being closer to the center of Dallas with all the through traffic that it has. It's unfortunately just a matter of the situation it's in. It's going to be a higher crime area, and by higher crime I mean just slightly below average for the area. So it's not anything crazy, but it's compared to the other ones, I got to give this one a con. And as far as location goes, though, it's got everything and then some. So if you're looking for stuff to do, Richardson's got it, because you're right next to Dallas, if nothing else, and you could just go drive down there if you can't find anything in the city. But on the upside of that, a lot of the stuff is very family oriented. So they've got stuff like arcades, trampoline houses, little fun centers and things like that. I'm talking whoever designed Richardson really did have families and kids in mind. And their healthcare facilities also show that because they have a lot of highly rated healthcare facilities. Unfortunately, they have a select few highly rated healthcare facilities, but unfortunately, a lot of their other ones were a little bit lower rated, but they have a ton of them. So if you didn't like one, you can just go to another one. And dining, I went ahead and threw dining on there as well. They do have a lot of high quality dining and good ratings as well throughout the city. So it's a great mix of everything. So and then whenever you're looking at affordability, probably people's biggest pinch point when it comes to the dollar, I think Richardson's also got this one beat. So whenever I put together the stats on this, the average housing price for Richardson, this is all of Richardson, so everything from the very top end to the very bottom end, came out to about $475,000 with a median of about $450,000. Looking at the actual numbers, your ballpark price point is going to be about $350,000 to $450,000. It looks like for a lot of the starter homes, which is decently affordable for how close it is to the city center. And if you're looking to rent, either way, the average rent and median rent for last year was $2,500. So that's about what you're going to have to pay. Okay. So all in all, racked and stacked everything, this one ended up a 4 out of 5.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah,
not bad. I honestly, okay, well, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, okay. Anyways, cool. So over to Fort Worth, I'm going to be talking about, I'm calling this Benbrook, but really I'm going to be talking about this corner. We'll put a map up, but basically it's a little bit of Benbrook, Fort Worth, and Aledo. And the reason I picked this area is just because of the growth that it's having and the proximity to downtown Fort Worth. So, yeah, and that was it's kind of a, I don't know if it's going to be a factor for everybody as far as the suburb goes, but, just trying to find something that's more central is tough. I feel like Richardson was the closest one that you had to the downtown Dallas, right? So anyways, that's why this one made my list. And yeah, let me jump into it here. So schools, if you look up schools on niche.com or anything like that, you're going to see that they're not highly rated. They're, I think, in the B area. But that being said, the West Park Elementary is very sought after, and they're building a new elementary school in Ventana. I think it's going to open, I think it's this year, actually, in the fall. Could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But Yeah, so there's a lot of people that are moving to this area to get into those schools. And then also they have a new charter school that's opening up called Oasis, and that's going to be kindergarten through 6th grade. So for those reasons, this is one of the reasons why this area made it onto my list. So on top of that, and then the high school is B- rated. So a little bit of a downer there, but I'm thinking, if your kids are in elementary school, by the time they get to high school, there may even be a second high school by then. It's like, I feel like it's a real up and coming area just from the amount of growth that's happening there and its proximity to downtown. So as far as schools go, I gave it half a star.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't really discuss the rules, but I'm giving out half stars on mine. And then childcare. So childcare, there's not a ton around the Benbrook area. So in this kind of triangle that I'm talking about, there's not a ton of commercial right there that's going to be like super close. You've got Walmart, a few like fast food places, but you've got Hewlin, that is like an extra 5 minutes away at 5 to 10. They've got a mall, they've got dining, they've got all this other stuff. So including childcare. So while there's not a lot of options in the Benbrook proper area, there's going to be a lot more just outside of there. There were only like 2 options that I could find, and their ratings were like, I think it was like 3.8 to 3.9 stars on Google, which is not spectacular in my opinion. But there was a lot of better stuff right around that Hewlin area. Like I said, probably 20 minutes away. So childcare, I gave them half a star, which might have been generous. And then safety, very safe place to be. So the neighborhoods themselves, very safe. There is an older part of Benbrook that I did not include in my triangle, which has a little bit lesser than, good, I guess, crime rating. But as far as safety goes, and I pulled a few stats on these, so it's like the chances of you being involved in a what do you call it? What do you call something when you get smacked, like an assault?
Like a
violent crime. Yeah. Is less than 1 in 500, right? So there's a better chance that your birth control fails, which could be why you're watching this video, right? So the safety is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty decent. It's definitely better than the state average, right? So we're in good shape there. And so safety, gave it a star. Location, I gave it a star as well, just because of its proximity to downtown. And while you are just a little bit further from a lot of the stuff, I mean, 15 to 20 minutes to have access to all the shopping, the dining, the trampoline parks, the stuff, to do with your kids, that's really not bad. So I did give that a star. And then affordability. This is, also gave it a star here. This is probably one of the more affordable areas, which is why it made my list. So they have, and a lot of this is newer stuff. So a lot of the homes over here started like in the 2000s, and then there's a ton of building going on right now. So you've got Ventana, which we have in a video somewhere. We'll link to it if we can find it. And then they're still building Ventana out. A lot of homes there. You've got Whitestone, which I believe they're about to open up another phase to. And you've got Bella, which is a big community out there with acre plus property. So the great thing about this is the prices range from the 300s all the way up into the millions, with a lot of options in each of these price ranges. But your median price point over there is going to be $420,000 for about 2,400 square feet. So that's a good 3242. And if you want to rent something over there, it's going to be about $2,400 a month. And that's for probably a 3-2 that's like 2,100 square feet. So overall, 4 stars for this particular Benbrook /Aledo /Fort Worth area.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if was that cheating?
I mean, I understand. Benbrook's a bit of a weird area for anyone who doesn't know, because it's still under development. So a lot of what is actually Benbrook is nothing, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it kind of skews statistics. So what he did actually made it more accurate overall, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But so this next one, I know some of the viewers who are in the Dallas area are probably going to get mad at me, but we're going to talk about Frisco, and I've got some good things and one thing that they may not like to hear. But starting off with schools, actually Frisco did pretty good. They've got great rated schools. They've got a couple that are just like middle of the road, but for the most part, it's, again, you really can't go wrong with this. Your kid's going to get a good education. But a couple of notable ones: the top elementary school is going to be Bledsoe. The top middle school is going to be Pioneer Heritage Middle School, and your top rated high school is going to be Independence High School. So if you're looking for a place to send your kids, make sure they get into one of those if they can. As far as childcare goes, for whenever they're outside of school hours, they got a ton of options. So again, highly rated, but they're a little bit more spread out. So they're further and fewer between, but you still get a decent number of options when it comes to childcare in the area. And if you're looking at safety, I would say Frisco, like, great. There is one notable exception to that, and that's along the highway. A lot of the stuff in Frisco kind of revolves around the highway, so it gets really like semi-industrial, almost like commercial in that area, so lots of shops and restaurants and stuff like that, and that's great, but unfortunately that area is slightly higher in crime. As you move further away from the central highway, though, crime just drops off the map. So if you're in the residential areas, you really have nothing to worry about there. So I would say for those first three, pros.
Okay.
The next one, though, location. So for those of you who don't know where Frisco is, it's right off of the highway there. I think it's not 35 East, is it?
No, it's
right
the tollway.
Yeah.
That goes north and south?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it is the tollway.
No, that's 75 that runs up.
Is it?
Yeah, they always turn into something else. Yeah,
yeah.
it like turns into a different highway, and I'm like, that's the same one?
The central highway that goes north to south through Dallas and right up past Frisco, just to the west of it. It's got a lot of stuff in it, and Frisco, like I said, it's just north of the 20, and it's just to the east of that highway, and it has a ton of stuff going on that highway. Lots of restaurants, lots of shops and stuff like that. What it doesn't really have, though, is attractions. Frisco currently is lacking in attractions. I know that's crazy to hear because there's so much development going up there, especially with that incoming.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
the Texas Star's there. There's a lot of business, like headquartered there.
Yeah, but as far as like family stuff goes, like it's really lacking. Like there wasn't. There's not a lot of things that you can just pick up and take the family and go do. There's a lot of attractions and stuff like that for people.
Yeah, they're all nearby though, right?
They are all very nearby.
Yeah.
You go you're not very far from Dallas. Like it's maybe a 25-30 minute drive at most to get anywhere on that side of the Metroplex. You have plenty of options, but as far as Frisco proper goes, I'm gonna have to give that one a con because it's lacking in everything outside of the highway, and that's why. Because if you're close to that highway, great. But if you're on the exterior of Frisco, you might actually just have better shot going to like one of the neighboring cities. Because otherwise you're going to have to drive all the way across town. So I'm going to have to give that one a con until they get all of that new development taken care of.
Okay, that's fair.
And then lastly, we've got affordability. So this one's a bit top dollar as well because of how much they are building over there, and with the projected growth, the numbers for the past year have gotten really high as well. So the average housing cost of houses sold in the last year is $750,000. The median cost is about $650,000, and looking at the numbers, your starting point's probably going to be somewhere around $500,000 in that area. And then if you're looking to rent, not much better. Your average rent is $3,200 and your median rent is $2,900, and it looks like 27's about like the starting point for most things out there. So I'm gonna have to give that one a con. So overall, Frisco 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's expensive up there.
It is. Yeah. North Dallas doesn't mess around.
Yeah. So, okay, my next spot, and I totally didn't mention this, on the Benbrook area. You're right next to Benbrook Lake, right? So there are, if you want to go do more recreational type things, there's a lake there. So that's, I guess, an added plus to the location. But I gave them a full star on location.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that doesn't change my rating. Okay, so Keller. Keller is, I believe, we have a video out on Keller as well, pros and cons, if you want to dig deeper into Keller. And also, we dig into the price points and the neighborhoods and all that. But anyways, school A-rated. So Keller has one of the best school districts in the state of Texas, actually. And their schools are fantastic. And a lot of people move to Keller, specifically because the schools are so good. So giving them a star on that. Childcare as well. There are a lot more options there. The other thing, too, there's a... and I forgot Tyler told me about this, but there's a website called care.com, which is like I said tender for babysitters. That wasn't right. Well, you had a better
little bit
comparison.
weird juxtaposition.
Yeah. But basically, it's like you can go on and see babysitter profiles, things like that, and they also have like actual facilities and all that kind of stuff, so you can kind of compare all the things. So that's another great resource that we have here in North Texas if you're looking into childcare. But a lot of options as far as just childcare goes in Keller, so I gave that a star. Safety, gave that a star as well. They have the chance that you're involved in a violent crime is like 1 in 1,081, so even better than Benbrook. And I mean, just to put this in perspective, it's more likely that you have a 6 finger or toe than you're involved in a violent crime. So
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never met anyone with 6 fingers.
Bingo. So very safe. Location. I gave this a half star, again with my half rating system. The location is, and we talked about a bit about this in the Keller video, but there's not a ton in Keller, but you're right next to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you drive, again, 15, 20 minutes, and you've got all the extras right around you. Honestly, I mean, I feel like half star was generous after you just crapped on Frisco, but
but I lumped mine a little differently with location. So if we're going with just location, I'd still give Frisco a star, but I'm talking to Frisco proper.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so anyways, give it half on location. Then affordability, I went with half as well. So Keller has a wide range of housing, and so they're going to start probably in the high 3s, maybe mid. You can find some cheaper, but for the most part, it's going to be a little bit more expensive to get into Keller. And then for a family home, you're going to be spending more money. So the average house in Keller, you're looking at about 2,900 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bath at $650,000. If you're looking to rent, you're getting about 2,300 square feet for $3,000 a month. So much more expensive than a lot of Fort Worth and Benbrook and those areas, but very, very nice place to live. It always reminds me of the Truman Show. That's the way I think about it. But
it's almost too nice.
Yeah. So in total, I've got a total of 4 stars, 4 out of 5 on Keller.
Okay, I can live with that. Keller's nice. Okay, the next one on my list, Plano. And everyone's heard of Plano at this point. It's like one of the most searched places on Google, apparently, when it comes to Texas places to move. And so we're going to crack this egg open real quick with the education. Plano actually has great schools as well. Like, surprisingly, for how much like the inner city Dallas and inner city Fort Worth are like the border cities, they do great when it comes to schooling. So again, I'm going to give this one a star, but let's go ahead and go over some of the top-rated schools. So we got Matthews Elementary School, Fowler Middle School, and Plano Senior High.
Oh man,
Plano and
Jack's
Plano
running out of gas.
West Senior High. Oh my God, I swear I'm literate. So again, star for that one. The next one is childcare, and I'm gonna go ahead and take Tom's lead on this and give it a half star now that we've included that in the rule book. But it has a lot. It actually has quite a bit of options. Unfortunately, very few are highly rated. So it's like 2 or 3 of them got really good reviews, tons of 5 stars, and then there's like a bunch of them just kind of pocketed around that have like okay ratings or like good ratings, but maybe only a few reviews or something like that. So it's gonna be a little bit more legwork to do some of the research on this before you just jump into it when it comes to the childcare options. As far as safety goes, since it's further outside of the loop, it actually scored higher on safety, with one notable exception. As you get closer to that highway, the crime does rise, and that's because there's going to be more industry in that area, and highways are just generally higher crime areas. So that one overall, pretty good. I'm going to give that one a star as well. Going on to location, man, Plano knocked it out of the park. I'm talking, they've got everything to do and then some. Stuff for your kids, stuff for you, stuff for your friends when they come to town. You can go get drunk at the local bars. You can go, churches everywhere. Whatever you need, they've got it. Healthcare facilities.
You really went to both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, really. Like, I'm talking something for everyone. They got, I think this was really cool because Plano has a lot of specialized healthcare facilities as well. You've got your general healthcare stuff. They've also got like a lot of the Methodist churches and stuff up there as well. So if you're looking for more specialized healthcare, it's a really good spot for that as well. And dining is great because you're right next to Dallas. You're right next to all these other major cities, like you got the McKinney, Garland, Rockwall, Frisco, all right next door. And on top of that, Plano itself just has really good food as well. So I'm, again, full star on that one. As far as affordability goes, you're paying for it, all right? Plano's not as bad as Frisco, I will say that, but your average house cost in Plano as of the sales from last year, $600,000, and median purchase price was $525,000. It looks like the trend is actually, it's decently affordable. So it's about $400,000 to $550,000 is what your range is going to be for most of your starter houses in that area. And if you're looking to rent, your average rent's going to be $2,800, but the median rent's $26,000. It looked like it was closer to $24,000 overall, though. So I'm going to go ahead and give that one a half star as well. So that knocks this one down to 4 stars in total.
Okay. And you talking about the healthcare just reminded me of something. And so in Fort Worth, Cook's Children is a very, very good children's hospital, and that's located just south of downtown. So, anyways, if you're living in Benbrook, you're 20, 25 minutes away, probably, depending on where you live from or drive from. Oh man,
yeah,
it's
it's the end of the day, folks.
Yeah, it's falling apart. Anyways. All right, so my last one is Southlake, which is right next to Keller, which I didn't really mention earlier, but Southlake and Keller are like northeast of Fort Worth. So you're more central to the Metroplex. Anyway, Southlake. So school rating, they have the best schools in Texas, #1 rated. So definitely, I give them 2 stars on that just because it's #1, right? So
okay.
I'm just making up rules. Just kidding. 1 star. Childcare, a lot of childcare around there. Actually, a lot of the childcare that I was researching for Keller was actually located in Southlake. There was also, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So anyways, a lot of options in Southlake. And safety. All right. About as safe as it gets. Your chances of being involved in a violent crime, 1 in 5,184.
Yeah, I was like,
Huge.
we did a video on Southlake, and it was like shocking how low the crime was.
Yeah.
Like it was almost unreal.
You're much more likely for your house to burn down.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah. It's more likely that you have 2 houses that burn down
before you get
crime.
attacked in Southlake.
So just put that in perspective. And then the location, I give it an A, because there is a ton of stuff in Southlake, like as far as shopping, as far as recreation goes for the kids. There's like the whole the park. I want to say Marathon Park. That's
no,
not
I know
it.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a giant park. It's got like 9 baseball fields, a ton
Yeah.
of soccer fields, playgrounds,
Boy,
a splash pad.
The name slips my mind.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's amazing. Just go look up that giant, like crazy Southlake Park or something like that.
Yeah, so they have trampoline parks. They've got the baseball, softball fields, the tennis courts. They've got all kinds of stuff there. Somebody will put it in the comments for us.
Yeah.
It's also, we have a Southlake video where we actually name the stuff as well. But anyways, it's a great location. A lot of stuff there. It really, as far as like a family goes, you would never really need to leave for any reason, I feel like. You're close to Grapevine Lake, a little bit further from Lake Louisville. So again, you got everything right around there. But where we do take a big hit here is affordability. So affordability, if there was negative stars on this, we would do negative stars. But so to basically the starting price point to get into Southlake is going to be around $700,000, and it goes up quickly from there. So your median price point in Southlake is $1.3 million for about 4,300 square feet.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
Yeah. So it's a very, very nice place, very expensive place to live. And if you're looking at renting there while you figure out what you're going to buy, or if you're building, whatever, you're looking at about $5,300 per month, and that'll get you about 3,400 square feet. So overall, I got another 4 out of 5 stars on this.
Okay.
Which is interesting. All of mine came out to 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know if that's just like a but for different reasons, I guess.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Most of your grades are going to be between 70 and 100 as long as you pass, and we all picked passing cities. So
Yeah.
I guess mine stack up. We got 4 stars for Richardson, 3 stars for Frisco, and 4 stars for Plano. So that means it adds up to my math is failing me right now. 11 out of 15.
Oh, dang. I got 12 out of 15.
Okay, dang. Well, it looks like
And Fort Worth wins.
Dallas coming up short, just barely.
Not that we're biased at all.
No.
But anyways, yeah, if there was something that we missed in these categories or something more you want to know, please do let us know in the comments for future videos. And that's it, right?
Yeah, if you got anything interesting to tell us about stuff that we missed on these cities, or if you want to cover some information on some of the neighboring cities, because I know we only just picked 3 and there's way more than that, let us know in the comments and maybe we can do a video on it and give you a shout out.
Sweet. And as always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm, call Tom.